It is time for another Starbase summary, May 14th through the 15th. They're coming fast and furious now because we are counting down the days to launch. We've been doing our normal daily shows, Countdown to Launch. It's what they're called. It's right there on the 10. But we know that SpaceX is doing everything they can to get this rocket out back to the pad and into flight. Hugely important here. Up at the beginning of the video, we can see this Deluge system that they have been testing on Pad 2. Wow! I don't know that I've seen it from South Padre Island before. This is over at the Margaritaville Hotel, probably sold out for the launch dates because that hotel ends up sells out ridiculously fast. And there's an excavator in the way doing some work there as well. We work with the hotel over there, by the way. Fantastic folks at Margaritaville, because half the rooms of the hotel have balconies overlooking Starbase. You can just stay in your hotel room and see out that way. Not quite half. I think it's like, the 5th or 6th floor where you start to see over that way. But in any event, we've seen them doing an awful lot of testing on this Deluge system, because it's not just, we're going to build a huge, crazy bunker pad that can withstand the world's most powerful, largest, etc. rocket, right? It's like, we're going to build this launch mount that can withstand the world's etc. rocket, as long as the water system's working. In order for that pad not to take damage, probably mostly the top decks and stuff like that, and get them towards that rapid reusability goal that they're going to, they need this part to work. And the plumbing and piping and pressures and flow rates and everything behind this that can make that amount of water flow through that pad, out the top, out the bottom. Hey, it's a rainbow. It's not a squirrel, but it's a rainbow. All the different things that have to come together to make that work are quite complicated. Now, NASA's got some pretty large Deluge systems. A shuttle had it, and SLS has it, and we've seen a lot of big tests of those things. But over here, this is a different design with the top decks, and notably, SpaceX is trying to go for the rapid reusability here, right? So potentially the pad may survive, but it may not be in as good a shape as you would hope. So they're spending an awful lot of time trying to get this system ready. In fact, multiple Deluge tests here up at the beginning of the video. All the things on the side. Good grief. We need to put like a Statue of Liberty here or something. Like those plumes on the right-hand side compared to large buildings or monuments. I don't know, put a vertical football field or something in there. Those are just ridiculously powerful plumes that blow off there whenever they release all the pressure, because it takes a ridiculous amount of pressure in order to push that water. We're just going to do it again. It's 3 Deluge tests. What? It takes a ridiculous amount of pressure that they build up back there, and when they're done with it, all that pressure has to go somewhere. They don't just let it continue decreasing. You need a specific pressure and a specific flow rate to keep the water coming out. What in the heck? Dude. Now, this has to largely be driven by wind, but this is the public sidewalk, and it looks like Gage and company were over there, and the road was open? No kidding. We get the high five at the end. It's like, the bridge at the water park, and there's the water ride that goes underneath, and if you want to get wet, you can stand on the bridge and it'll splash you. That's sort of what's going on there. The good news is this is just, last I heard from SpaceX, drinking water. It shouldn't be hazardous as long as it's mechanically, physically not causing you any damage, hitting you off your feet or anything like that. According to SpaceX, it's just tap water that gets piped in from Brownsville, and then they fill up the tanks and they blow it out of the pad like that. So in any event, that's what SpaceX tells us about that water. I guess it's fine as long as it doesn't knock you off your feet. It's like the splash zone. Anyways, Pad 1 surface structure, they're assembling that over on the side. It'll be moved to the next to the flame trench, it says there. They're sort of assembling it out of the way as work continues in the immediate area of the flame trench and foundations, pilings, yada, 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 right? And they're sort of putting it together over here. That's funny. It's the Gulf. It's not the Atlantic. And then they're going to move it over near the actual Pad 1 mount. There is the ASU. That either looks like a propane cylinder that you'd see on the back of a forklift or a large keg. Pretty sure it's not related to either of those things beyond it being a metal cylinder that contains something. In fact, the way that the top of it looks, it actually looks like that might not be a tank. I'm curious, the sizes of that. Is that a higher pressure tank and they need those curves on the top and bottom of it? And so it is literally like your propane tank, natural gas tank, whatever, where you put that little ring that's welded to the bottom of the tank so you have a flat circle so that a round bottom tank can sit on your deck or patio or patio or whatever. Portio? Whatever. Cleanly? I don't know. There's a vertical tank over on the ASU side waiting for installation. Is that that's the ASU there. There's the big compressor housing. Sometimes I gotta pause and look at what I'm looking at to make sure. What is this? Like a bug screen? What is that screen on the lift? Here the future continues to look like the future, or at least somebody took multiple buildings from New York City and somebody formed the head and they made a huge Gigabay over there. It is a very big building. It's not as tall as some of the stuff you see in New York, but it is quite a large structure with all that steel girders. Now look at that. That's interesting. That is a big bearing-looking pivot point thing. Is that to flip a ship over? From vertical to horizontal? That's super curious. I will need to go and look and see what some of the folks think about that. I saw mention of that. But getting everything ready for flight, that was a super curious pivot point. Interesting that it was a single pivot point that I saw there. It's almost like a hanging sort of side pivot point instead of a... That was weird. I'm going to go back and look at that. Y'all can do it right now. I'm going to go back and look at that because it didn't seem to have all of the structural supporting elements that I would expect. But I guess we'll see more. We're going to get some more tile shots here from Colleen. Speaking of getting ready for flight, I've been out in the garage quite a bit, and over in one corner of the garage I usually have Starbase Live running, or multi-view of Starbase Live, because I can do that. But I have kept a little bit less attention because I'm trying to get camera equipment ready for flight. So I need to get myself on a plane and fly on down there and bring a bunch of goodies from the shop in my garage. I got a couple CNCs and a bunch of machine tool sort of stuff that we make camera parts for, but I have quite the stack of aluminum that's been getting poked and prodded and chipped and tapped and all sorts of stuff out in the garage. We got a rollout happening here. Keep me talking about my stuff in the garage. Sorry, I'm okay. Let's talk about the rollout instead. This is going to be ship 39. Probably should have just said that up at the beginning. But knowing that they wanted to get a couple more tests in, rolling this thing over out the back of the 2 megabays, coming on up Remedios here, turning the corner past the palm trees. It's going to come all the way up, and it's not going to take from our perspective, right, from the rocket's perspective. If you were driving it, it would be a left. It's going to take a right from the rocket's perspective and head on out to Massey's. Now, well, did it just leak a little? I think it did. It's probably you wouldn't think it's rainwater. Well, I guess it came from the launch pad, then it went inside the mega bay, then it came back out again. Anyways, what remaining tests did they have for this thing that hadn't been done yet that they need to move it over? As of me sitting down to do this, and I will admit I've been in my garage quite a bit, so correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. But I don't know that SpaceX confirmed exactly what they did over at Massey's. I feel like it should have a French name. I don't think Massey's is French. It doesn't sound French. Unless you say it that way. Anyways, there you go. Took a right from the rocket's perspective. Left if you were standing there at the end of the road. It's going to come over here towards our river spot. There's Colleen going to give us the... how does it go? Hate to see you go, but love to watch you leave. I think we could all say that of Starship launches. Of rocket launches in general. Actually, we like to see them roll. That whole analogy doesn't work. But we like to see the rockets get out to the pad and then launch. That's what I was going for, all right? Work with me. It's a video. So, rolling up the road here, it's going to end up going out around the corner all the way over to Massey, sort of entering the trees there. Well, that was a little bit out of order. I think it entered the trees back the other way, unless the trees have grown a lot more. Passing our river site here, going to go all the way up the road and head over to Massey's for some testing to sum it all up. That has not, if I remember correctly, has not been specifically talked about by SpaceX. It's exactly what they did. I think they brought it back and it's ready to go. So they're still waiting for this wet dress rehearsal, and I think there's a schedule. Like, it's very odd that the whole stack isn't out there yet. I've seen some road closures popping up. Does that mean we're going to get a wet dress rehearsal tomorrow? Is it going to be Monday? I guess we're going to see how that works. Ah, look at that. Yeah. It says it's not clear what, if anything, happened beyond tanking. Good. That's not actually in the notes that I normally get. I was sort of hedging a little bit because I didn't know the answer, but thanks, Editor Thomas. We appreciate you. Any event, we are going to watch those notices. We're going to look for this because we expect one more big all-up test after the test they've been doing there before flight. Is the 19th looking likely? You know something? Next week is probably looking likely. I don't know if they're going to make the 19th or not, but you know how you'll find out. Hang out with us around here. It's a Starbase Summary, Starbase Live, Starbase Video, Starbase... You know what we do. Appreciate y'all watching, and we will see you nerds later.